Welcome to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. I'm Bernie Flowers, one of Uncle Sam's wayward children. I believe that our country's best days are still in front of us, but if those best days are to come, we need to change the direction of the country now, before it's too late. I intend to talk about important issues and topics every week in hopes of helping to improve our country and our way of life. Please like, share, and subscribe. Elect me to Congress. I can make a difference for all Americans, and especially Marylanders. Our guest for episode 53 is Mr. Jason Herrick. Jason Herrick, along with his wife, Caitlin, is a co-founder of Apogee HoCo, a character-focused, project-based Socratic academy launching this September of 2024. He has developed his expertise as a coach in guiding children to grow and develop themselves both on and off the soccer field. Jason breaks down his philosophy of leadership into encourage, educate, and empower. He recognizes impacting others first begins with connection and trusted relationships, so children can feel comfortable growing and developing their skills to which they can then be empowered to take on more and more autonomy for themselves and to lead others. Without any further ado, welcome to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. Jason, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It was a pleasure meeting you the other night at the Central Committee meeting, and I've been looking forward to this day ever since.
Man, you impressed me too. It was just a blessing that we ran into each other, and I'm thankful for you coming on the podcast so quickly. So, without any further ado, would you mind answering a few questions for us?
I would love to.
Let's get it done. Let's get it done. So, first, why are you launching Apogee HoCo?
Well, it really comes down to our boys, our children, and it comes to no surprise after everything that's gone on in the last 3 or 4 years. It's really woken me up. It's made my wife and I ask a lot more questions. What do we want? What do we want the world to look like? We can't really control that, but we can control what we want our boys to be, what we want them to become, what we want them to be capable of. So it really comes down to them, and they're the driving force behind our why behind this mission. Our boys, like many of your children out there, have an insatiable curiosity, vivid imaginations, along with just an abundance of energy to learn through play and exploration. And we believe that education must not just prepare them for adulthood, but must inspire them to be lifelong learners in that pursuit of learning and personal development for the rest of their lives, and to pass that on generationally to their children and so forth and so forth. And we want to create an environment for them that promotes that love of learning. We want them to be able to enjoy their childhood in the process freely, not to be bound or shackled to a desk. We want them to learn how to be kind and respectful, but also strong-willed and driven and forging their path in life. We want them to learn how to have those hard discussions that are necessary but can be tricky sometimes. We want them to be critical thinkers, to know how to think. Again, how to think, not just told what to think and to repeat it and just believe it because somebody who's in a position of perceived authority told them to. We want them to learn how to become the best version of themselves, to figure out what they're good at, what their unique skill sets are, and to love that process. Really, it comes down to building. We want them to have that owner's mindset and really instill that in them so they could drive themselves the rest of their life. And within that environment, we want them to not only be challenged mentally, but also physically. We really believe in physical fitness and health, and that's going to be the driving force to take their body and mind to create the life that they need. And my wife and I, we've been searching for years for the right option, and we've come across a bunch of ones that seemed like they were good, but there's little pieces that were missing. So now that we came across Mr. Matt Bodrow and Tim Kennedy, the co-founders of Apogee Strong, we decided this was the best of the best that they put together, and we are proud to affiliate with them and bring Apogee HoCo and launch it not only for our boys, but all other Maryland families who want to join an all-star team of trusted families. And first and foremost, we are building a community. The community comes first. It's the people. Think about, you want to pick the people that you want your child to be around, that you want to be around. That's how we're starting. We're finding strong character, trusted, like-minded families within that community. That's when we're going to put together this project-based learning, and that's totally free from many of these political agendas that we're frustrated with today.
Jason, your enthusiasm is infectious, and I love it. I got another question for you. You ready?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
What's a typical day going to look like at Apogee HoCo?
Sure. So, bigger picture, what we're trying to create is, and what we're preparing our children for, is life. And I know that's obvious, but when we put them into these training systems or schools or education centers, we really focus more on that system and less on what that ultimate outcome is. So we're trying to take life and then create a microcosm of that for our children to live, to experience every day, not just the information that they're going to come across and know, but the daily habits and the mindset and beliefs that they have that we're going to instill in them. So that's that starting point, and this is how we're going to break it down. So the way we work, we operate on a 4+1 model. So if your child becomes a member with us, we're going Monday through Thursday. Fridays are optional. You could feel free to take 3-day weekends, travel. If you want to participate on Fridays, that's going to be more of an enrichment day, field trips where we bring in parent and community volunteers. So that's up to family how they choose to operate on those Fridays. Times will be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And on those Monday through Thursday days, the schedule will start with drop-off and free play. And we believe free play isn't just recess or a break from learning, but it is actual learning. It's how kids learn. It's how they create. It's how they explore. And not only for their learning, but for every aspect of their physical, mental, and emotional health. It is vital. So we'll start off with free play after drop-off. We're going to start with a morning meeting and greeting. That's where the kids are going to be in our morning huddle. They're going to turn to the side, shake hands, eye contact, which I know myself, going on an official recruiting trip to the University of Maryland at 17, 18 years old, I had trouble making eye contact and having a good handshake. These kids are going to start building that daily habit at the age of 5 years old, and we're going to have fun doing it. So by the time they get older, that's not even be something to think about. It's just something that they've done every day as a fun part of the day. They're going to set their intentions and their goals for the day. They'll have a little swim buddy, somebody that'll keep them accountable, that they'll discuss that with. So we'll set out for the day with that. The morning will also have a 5 to 10 minute period for gratitude, and this will be based on what the family wants their child to do. Whether it's gratitude, journaling, it could be prayer time for families that want that, meditation, whatever's going to set that mindset and help them start the day on the best foot for them and their family. Then we'll go into break down the core skills. So that'll be the math, the reading, and writing, and how they want to do it. So we're not going to force them to do worksheets or textbooks. They're going to learn a lot of this through our projects, which we'll touch on in a second. But if they want to do those, they can do the worksheets as well. And then as they get older, they're going to have applications, so it could be fully self-paced. We're not going to put a governor on their learning and say, you can only go to this page today. Real learning, as we know, happens in spikes. You get really curious, you want to know, and we don't want to stop them. We want to push them and allow them to go as fast as possible. And one of the favorite things that's coming up next is our Socratic discussion. So the big talking point is critical thinking, and we see that as thinking about your thinking, becoming aware of it, thinking about what you are actually thinking, and that's obviously, as you know, that's something that's not practiced very often nowadays. So these kids are going to be on a totally different level. I actually thought, funny enough, that I invented the Socratic method. Now, I had one of my captains of my soccer teams. He was very curious, wanted to have questions. I soon realized he was waiting for permission. It wasn't just his curiosity, but he was waiting for me as an authority to give him permission to act. So instead of giving him answers, I started giving him my process by asking him questions so he can go through that, adopt it to himself, and then be empowered to do that for himself and lead other young men on the field, and also do that in his life at school, extracurriculars, and church, and beyond. So I thought I came up with this awesome method, and then I realized I was 2,000 years too late, and they already killed Socrates for asking questions and disrupting society. So how that's going to work is we are going to pose scenarios every day. Typically, it'll have two possible answers. Neither answer is right. They both might be pretty good. They both might be poor choices. Their task is to pick one and defend it and articulate why they believe that. Then they're going to genuinely listen to their friends who might pick the other one and disagree with their idea, not disagree with the person, not call them names, no ad hominem attacks or logical fallacies. After we go through that, they will then have the chance to change their minds. So we are not our ideas. If we come across information that we didn't have originally, we need to be open to changing our minds, unlearning, and leveling up. So they're going to go through this method every day, and then as they get farther and farther and older, we will also ask them to lead these discussions. So we're going to put them through this, and they're going to be able to have great communication. The biggest part of it, they're going to do this in a civil manner. Civil discourse. And I know you've been at some meetings. I've been at meetings recently where parents are acting like children, interrupting each other, name calling, and it's really embarrassing. So our kids are going to really set the standard going forward. We're going to have hero's choice and physical fitness are two other buckets we're going to have in our day. So hero's choice, we refer to our children as young heroes because we want them, again, that's the mindset. They are the hero. They are the main character in their story. They are on their own personal, unique hero's journey. We're going to be there to coach them, to guide them, to help and support their parents. A true triangle of relationship with the child, taking responsibility for their lifelong education from 5 years old, having that mindset. We're going to be there to support them, empower their parents, so they're going to be doing that as well. So hero's choice, we want them to be in charge of their day. So they're going to have time, 20, 30 minutes every day to say, hey, this is a special project that I want to work on today. This is what I want to do. So we want them to build that in so they're in charge more and more of their schedule. Physical fitness, that's going to be a huge differentiator, not just playing dodgeball and kickball, although those fun games are fun for free play time, but actual fitness, calisthenics, physical health, we see that as a foundation, a precursor to everything else, including the mental health that is a hot topic right now. So the other part of that is when we have set really high standards, both on campus for character, but also for physical health and the fitness, that's going to drop down some of the bullying and picking on each other because you're doing things that are really hard together and you're supporting each other and pushing each other. You're not bored, so you're not going to have to pick on anybody else. You're going to be picking each other up, lifting each other up. And we want them to, by the time they're in that 14 to 18 range, as they age up with us, to be able to really build out their own personal health profile and program that they can continue to iterate on for the rest of their life. Everything we're doing here is going to be sustainable and they're going to use in perpetuity. We're going to have on-campus jobs and responsibilities. There's not going to be a maid that comes in after them. Nobody's picking up their socks. They're in charge of their stations. And partway through the year, we're going to build out that's tasked to that and some of the other projects, a class economy. So they're going to get different class bucks for completing different tasks, jobs, responsibilities, which then they can use in different areas, different meetings. They could, when their parents come in for exhibitions, which we'll touch on in a second, they can get the priority seating. So we're really going to have them show the responsibility of earning and doing a high-level job through that class economy as well. We'll have lunch. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Keep on talking, man. I'm all excited.
Oh, no, if you had something, please jump in there.
No, I was just going to say, the ideal family, we touched on that just a little bit, but I want you to elaborate on, who you're really targeting here as families.
Oh, right. Yeah, so we are definitely not for everybody, and we don't really want everybody. If we're looking at what normal and average is, we absolutely don't want that. We don't want just what's the easiest thing. We want people that want the absolute best for their children, that are not only willing to defend them of things that are currently going on and saying no and playing defense for them, but we want parents that are ready to go on offense, to create something that we have full control of and can create the best possible option for our children to both grow, educate themselves, and have their development. So the parents we're looking for, again, it starts with that community we're building, and we're looking for strong character families. We have an Apogee code, which is going to apply to everybody. We don't just have rules for the kids to refrain from, but we have character code for them to embody and to aspire to, which is also going to apply to staff and the parents, which is integrity, honesty, bravery, honor, loyalty, compassion, and politeness. So that's going to filter through all the decisions they're making throughout the day and who they are going to be in life, which we think is just as important as what they start to know. So we're looking for people who want to be in community, are of character, want to focus on who their child is going to become, and be around other families who want that too. Because as we know, kids learn by observing and mimicking others. So we're just going to build an all-star team where that's all they're going to see around them. We're going to raise the normal standard for our group.
Wow. Dude, I mean, if your staff has the enthusiasm that you have, there is no way you can fail. I'm just totally impressed already. And I just met you about a week ago. So just way cool. I got another question I want to ask you. Tell me about your background in soccer and coaching.
Yeah, so my wife and I met at the University of Maryland. We both played there on soccer scholarships. We captained each of our respective teams. And after graduating, my goal was always to play professionally. Unfortunately, I played one game. I sustained a head injury, and that led to some long-term effects, and I had a forced medical retirement. So in that time, I was going to go straight to my backup and start doing accounting, but when I started studying for the CPA, the pain was getting worse, and I couldn't really focus and go through with that. So I started coaching, so I could work for 30 minutes to an hour, and then I could close my eyes and rest and let everything simmer down. And when I started coaching, I realized I could see the fun, the excitement, the enthusiasm that kids had, that I was able to empower them through our shared like of soccer and help make them a better person and a soccer player, both on and off the field. So I dove into that with 2 feet, and I did that for nearly a decade, and that's how I understood about and reflected on my own journey with how I liked certain coaches, how I wanted to coach, how I wanted to lead people, and that's really how I came up with my leadership philosophy of encourage, educate, empower. First, to connect with them, see them as a unique individual, provide the environment and the training and the coaching to gather their tools, and then, like I said with the story with James, to really empower them, say, hey, I'm here for that relationship, that trusted bond we form, but you are capable. Go forth. You can do it on your own.
I love the positivity, man. I'm all about positivity. So, another question for you. You ready?
Yes, sir.
The floor is now yours. Say what you will.
So in Apogee HoCo, like we said, we are forming and building a community first. Apogee HoCo is going to be the educational hub of the community where parents can come together for classes, trainings, masterminds. If there is issues going on, we are going to be the people that everyone's going to look to. We are going to be solution-focused action takers. We're not going to be gossiping. We're not going to be coming to complain about things. We're going to be coming to create life, a better life for our children, build it, and have that on-campus feel. Eventually, we're going to build to where we have our own land, and we're going to have building, animals, full kitchen, mixed martial arts gym, fitness center, on-campus co-working space for parents, because we want to build that holistic environment for our families to do life, to support each other and grow together. So if any of this sounds great, you don't have to live in Howard County. We are about to secure our location, and we're trying to get it close to major road access. So if you are coming from Frederick, Anne Arundel, Carroll, Montgomery County, anywhere, Baltimore County, Baltimore City, anywhere you're at, if this sounds interesting, we'd love to connect with you and share more of our vision and mission.
Absolutely outstanding. So, how can people get a hold of you if they need to?
Yes, so our website, by the time this goes out, will be live this week, apogeehoco.org, APOGEEHOCO, apogeehoco.org. That is our website. Email is info@apogeehoco.org, and on Instagram is @apogeehoco.
Jason, I am just thrilled for what you're trying to do. This whole Socratic method thing really appeals to me, and I'm happy that you came on the show, and whatever we can do to help promote what you're trying to do, let's make it go. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the improvements you're talking about, and I have no doubt you're going to make it happen. So again, thank you for coming on the show, and I salute you, brother. You take care of yourself now.
All right, really appreciate it. We'll talk soon, sir.
Amen. And I'm not a Serb, just Bernie, bro.
I appreciate you, Bernie.
All right. That's about it for now. This has been the Loyal Opposition Podcast, produced in association with Liberty Arise Media, Fallback Productions, and other podcasters. I ask that you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Be sure to get your copy of my book, Black Values Matter, available as an ebook on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. And also remember that I'm running for Congress in Maryland's 3rd District. We have the best chance to win in a generation, and I intend to do just that. Check me out at flowersformaryland.com or on most social media. And lastly, it's okay to disagree, but if you want our country to prosper, we must insist on unity, transparency, and civility from ourselves and our fellow citizens. Thanks for listening to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. I'll see you next week.